Bought a car so my niggas won't have to walk again. And lady friends never have to catch a bus again. Let them pussies cat call, you ain't where we at.
Alright, so Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming first. So, how has 2020 been for you with the pandemic? Like, how have you had to adjust in your music career so far?
Man. Whew. It's crazy just to think about how long the year's been. But yeah, it was very difficult at first. It was like, whoa. I couldn't formulate anything like artistically, but I also was like, I'm not even finna put that pressure on myself. I'm gonna just pause. And so I took a very long pause, and during that pause, I was like, cool, like, shit's kind of sweet because shit, ain't nobody really doing shit anyway. Like, everybody kind of cooling till we see when we can bring our heads back out. And then the George Floyd shit happened. And that shit, it went from being like, okay, I'm gonna just take this as a break to, oh, I have other shit I need to be focused on. So spring was like chilling, pandemic, quarantine. Summer was like back outside because Chicago is hurting right now. And I need to be out there on the ground trying to help out however I can, type shit. So there was no music even being like thought about between March whatever that day. It was like March 12th or some shit like that, March 14th when they stopped the NBA, and till we shot the Shotgun video, which was July 27th. So, and it was crazy because we dropped the Family Steal video maybe a week and a half before they did like the huge quarantine announcement where everybody had to be on lockdown. It was like, damn, I just dropped this video that I'm really proud about and people fucking with it, and like the attention is completely shifted to other shit. And I think that was kind of the moment that made me say, I need to not even be trying to do music right now because it won't be received properly if I do. The Shotgun joint, it felt good to do art, you know, some type of art after that long hiatus. I wasn't ready to write raps yet, but it was cool to add femdot's verse to the Shotgun video and, you know, direct the video during that time. Like, directing felt way more comfortable than trying to pen something because everything I tried to pen felt like it was going to be about the pandemic and what was going on, and that didn't feel genuine. It felt forced. But the directing shit was fun, and then we dropped it in September, so it was about a 7-month break before I dropped anything. And even then, the drop of the video was great. Very happy with it, but the day after we dropped the video, they announced that none of the cops in Breonna Taylor's case were going to be charged. And then I had this like overwhelming feeling of like sadness because self-promotion feels so selfish when it's bigger things going on. I had to promote this video. I'm like, damn, all my people are hurting right now. I can't even do my rollout for the video the way I want to because it would look so tone deaf if I post this today on my social media. And so I didn't even post that day. And me and femdot talked about it, and it was an encouraging talk, and so I was able to kind of get back into the groove after that day. But that kind of just shows you where my head is at, you know, with everything that's been going on.
You mentioned how you were just helping people throughout the quarantine.
Yeah.
It was the grab and go,
Yep.
right? Can you talk about kind of like your role in the grab and go that you guys were doing?
Yeah. So the People's Grab and Go, it is a food drive that some of my homies created over the summertime. It was kind of the brainchild of Trina Reynolds Tyler and Dominique James. And then Jahad Keparu and me stepped in, and the four of us became like the leadership team of this brilliant idea that was started when the mayor kind of did this emergency cancellation of the school lunches the weekend after all the looting happened, you know, so that was like June 1st or some shit like that, because the George Floyd shit came out like the 28th of May or something like that. Then that weekend of that week was when the looting went crazy in the city, and then she cut the lunches that Monday, and it was kids still getting lunches during quarantine. Like that was their source of food. You know what I'm saying? Even though they weren't pulling up to school, the city was still serving lunches. So to stop those lunches was like, damn, like, so you finna punish these kids in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Because you think the hood is the reason that this shit happened. It's kind of fucked up. And so Trina was like, yo, we gotta get out there and we gotta serve them kids lunches. So we go out there the day of, and it was just a one-day thing at first. And then so many people came that day. It was like, and it was so many people that weren't just youth that came. It was like, oh, it's families out here who need shit. And we got so many donations, both physical and financial. We had enough to say, fuck it, we're going to do it the whole summer. And so we did. So what was supposed to be a one-day thing ended up being a weekly food drive from June 1st all the way to August 31st, where we gave out food, toiletries, PPE, and baby products to folks at what's the name of this? Burke Elementary School on 51st and King Drive. And we're just trying to see what the rest of it looks like because we kind of used up all our resources, but we know we want to come back in a different type of way and still give back to the community in ways that they need. It may be next summer with another food drive, it may be sooner than that, but that's what we're thinking through. But yeah, my summer was really about, giving to that food drive, helping John Walk Foundation with their food drive, helping femdot with the slide by, like just service however I can, because I was capable.
Can you speak about how your parents impacted you musically?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's crazy because I was just kicking with my pops yesterday, talking music, and like my dad actually finna drop a project, and he was playing me the project, and it's fake fire. I'm like, oh shit, go crazy. And so, yeah, my dad was making house music, producing house music, writing music, house music from the day that I was born. And my mother, heavy in the choir. She's actually the director of music at our church now, which is really dope. And she's been that for like the last 3 years, I think. But yeah, so like because of that influence, there was music in my house all the time. Like my mom sings at all times that there's not something going on. You hear her singing. My dad introduced me to hip hop. A lot of Busta Rhymes in the crib growing up. A lot of Wu-Tang specifically. He really liked Madman and Method Man as well. What'd I say? Said that wrong. Redman and Method Man as well. Yeah, and so having, and he also rapped. And so having the pops who rap, the pops who love hip hop, he bought me a drum machine in 2006 for my 8th grade graduation. And that was kind of what really started me into making music. I'm like, oh, I love Kanye. I love Common's beats. Like, let me make some beats like what Common shit sound like. And I also was really into that snap your finger shit too. So, making those type of beats. And I made a whole bunch of beats in high school and then started rapping when I got to college. And yeah, I think having that influence of the church music plus, what my dad was into is what really got me to fall in love with music,
So when did you start creating music yourself?
Yeah. So I think I would say like the official date is after my pops bought me that drum machine in 2006. Made hella beats, maybe like 700 beats when I was in high school. Yeah. And it wasn't like 5 beats a day for 3 summers type shit, but it was like whenever there was free time in the crib. And it was crazy because I would be tapping the shit on my desk upstairs and it would be so loud. Like my parents would be like, Dexter is my real name. They'd be like, Dexter, come on, bro. Like, chill out, or like go to the other room. You right above our heads doing that shit. So it was like a thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm the nigga from high school who was beating on the desk and shit in class and like tapping the pencils and shit. So yeah, it started with making the beats, and then I got heavy into rapping because I started writing like little fake weak songs to my beats when I was a senior. And then when I got to NIU, which is where I graduated from, for college, I was like, the beats are dope, but music is changing very, very rapidly. And my drum machine didn't have the capability to make some of the beats that were popping at the time. And so I started like tapping into other folks' beats, you know what I'm saying? The Lil Wayne mixtape shit. And started writing raps to other folks' beats so I can kind of get my pen together. And that was when the raps really, really became a thing. I was like, oh, I like sharpening my pen a little bit more than I like making beats. I'm gonna do this.
You touched on it a little bit, but can you talk about your college experience at NIU?
Man, it's crazy because I was just kicking it with some of my college homies, reminiscing on the music shit in college. Yeah, it was great. My college experience is probably the single most influential aspect of my life so far to date. And that whole 6-year period that I was there, yes, it was 6 years. That whole 6-year period that I was there it formed me so much. Musically, I was like from day one, I'm like, yo, I want to rap. You know what I'm saying? I got on the campus and I met 2 people who were like campus artists. Like they would perform at all the events and shit, and like folks would fuck with their music. I'm like, oh, NIU makes space for like black art in a way that I didn't know was gonna exist on the college campus. And so once I saw that there was a space for me to do what I do, I'm like, shit, I want to be that nigga with this rap shit. You know what I'm saying? I want motherfuckers to sing my shit. So I was actually going to a community college 5 minutes from NIU, but like performing on NIU's campus. And like motherfuckers like, do you go here or do you go to Kitsch? I'm like, it don't even matter. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Then I transferred to Northern officially in 2013. And that summer, I wrote what I call my first single, which is a song called Like That, with two other guys, Mike West and AC Noel. And the motherfucker blew the campus up. Like, no exaggeration, like the shit. And I can show you the video. I never showed you this video, but there's a video of us performing it. And we in a room full of like 1,000 people. All of them motherfuckers singing the song. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I became that nigga with the rap shit once we dropped that song. And, like, people knew me for what I wanted them to know me as, like, a rapper. I wasn't, like, I remember when my girlfriend was like, yo, why do you introduce yourself as Matt? And I'm like, because I want motherfuckers to know about these raps. Like, I'm not here to be Dexter. I'm here to be Matt Muse. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, NIU made a lane for me to make my music. It helped me sharpen my pen a lot. There was an org called Expression that we were in where folks would, like, really, like, critique the shit out of your music. And that shit was super helpful. And I think just having a small section of black people who I could relate to on the PWI was the most beautiful thing ever. You know, had I not found a section to sit in or a community, I don't think that I would have loved my college experience as much as I did. And I don't think that there would have been an avenue for me to sharpen my pen and, you know, make music for the people had I not found those people. And NIU provided it in a way that I'm not sure other college campuses could have. So, yeah, it was fire. 10 out of 10, you know what I'm saying? And also, it's a lot of fire, dope-ass people who went to NIU. I think a lot of people don't even know all the people who either graduated from there or went there for, like, a semester. But, yeah, like, Dreezy went there, for, like, a semester or, like, 2 semesters. What's her name? Ari went there. Obviously, OG Steve-O went there. Yeah, so... Shit, Elgato went there. Like a lot of, yeah, like yeah, it was, yeah.
I'm interviewing OG Steve-O tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him about that. So you worked at Donda's House early on. How did you get started with that?
It's funny because I was gonna say something about that in the college shit, but this girl named Jasmine Willette, she went to NIU and she actually passed away in like 2015. So you know, RIP to her. She was a phenomenal person and she was super supportive of my music. And she told me about Donda's House. I don't even remember like the conversation, but she like wanted to help me with my music, like fake manage type shit. And one of the things she told me about was Donda's House. And she was like, yeah, they're having this audition for artists on this day. You should go. And I'm like, that shit is all the way in the city. That's like an hour and a half away. How the fuck I'm finna, you know what I'm saying? So my girl let me use her car, drove down to the city for the audition, did the audition. They fucked with me heavy, and that was kind of how it started. And, you know, I was getting on the train, you know what I'm saying, catching the train, then the red line. Wasn't taking no lifts. I was taking the bus and the train from NIU to what we was on, like 70-something in Ashland. Every time we had a meeting, coming from school, getting out of class, getting off work early, or switching my schedule around for work so that I could be free during our, you know, our meeting time. And yeah, that was another very helpful thing. Just I was in a program called Got Bars that Rhymefest led. And so it was about improving your pen once again. And so, you know, there was just a lot of critique, and I think that also helped a lot, you know. And that was when I first really worked with a real engineer. There's a dude named Marlon who was fire. And he helped me learn a lot about, like, being in the booth and being in the studio, which was a thing I didn't get at NIU, but Donna's House definitely helped me in that area, which was nice.
That's the trip from DeKalb all the way to 70th and Ashland.
Yep.
Jeez.
Every week, weekly. And it's crazy, too, because Donda's House led to me performing at iFest, which I think was, like, the first big thing I ever did as an artist. You know, they had open audition for, like, 100-some people did it, and me and my band won the audition. And that was how everything kind of got started, where I was like, oh, I'm doing this shit. Like, we're out here. Like, fuck with me, you know what I'm saying? That shit is still in my bio, just because it was such a huge, you know, accomplishment.
I will never forgive myself. So, like, Offest 2015,
Mm-hmm.
I could have gone that day, but I was starting college the next morning. And I was like a freshman. I was like, oh, I'm really going to try to, like, graduate or whatever, like, do well. So I skipped Offest, and Offest is, like, Commons Festival. Like, Common was the headliner, and he brought out Kanye.
Yep.
And, dude, I was so hurt at myself. Bro, I was so mad at myself.
Yeah. I went to that one, and that shit was crazy. Like, yeah.
Never forgive myself.
Yep.
So it's been a little over a year since you released Love Nappyness.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, what does that body of work mean to you?
Yeah. Love Nappyness is definitely my proudest project I've put out to date. Like, I've officially dropped 3 projects, but I have more that I put out before. You know what I'm saying? I moved to Chicago. But yeah, Love Nappyness to me was like when I really felt like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna make some good songs. Like, we not just gonna do the rapidy rap shit. Like, how do I make a song that's gonna get through to people and that's gonna get through the message for me? And I think that was an accomplishment for me. Like, I knew I had it in me, but I never was able to like do it as a whole body. And I think that Love Nappyness was really the first iteration of me making good songs that still have raw ass raps on it. You know what I'm saying? It's my proudest project. You know, I'm working on some new shit, so I'm like in this mode where I just deleted all the songs off my phone from Love Nappyness just so like I can really like lock into the future. But yeah, it you know, even down the line, whatever I make in the future, I think Love Nappyness for me will always be like a holy grail. Like, it is I love it. I really love it.
Can you speak on that concept of the tape?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
We talked about it before in like interviews a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like the parentheses after each song.
Yeah. So the concept of it is basically like each song is 6 songs. Each song is about a different type of love. So it's 6 love songs technically, but not like the sappy, corny ones you would expect. You know. So the words in parentheses are the Greek word for that type of love. So you have agape, which is God's love. That's the first song. The second song is eros, which is love between partners. You have philatia, which is self-love, and there's 2 songs about that, which is Ain't No and Myself. One of them is like me talking my shit. The other one is about like having like issues with self-confidence and finding self-love. You have philia, which is friendship love, and that's Shotgun, which we just did the remix to with femdot, and then storage, which is familial love. Yeah.
You keep saying little things that lead me right to my next question. So you recently put out the video for the remix of Shotgun featuring Fem.
Yeah.
What made you decide to work with him on that song?
It was like literally the most perfect thing to do to me, like, because it was like he put out a project called 94 Camera Music that's literally about, to me, it's like a bigger version of what I was thinking when I wrote Shotgun. And it's obviously a different thing. I'm not saying they're the same thing, but it's like, yo, this car played such a huge role in my upbringing. Whereas for me, so many people, there were so many moments coming up where me and my homies were doing shit and we never had a car. And so I always said, like, especially at NIU, like, I always had people giving me rides. Like I said, my shorty let me borrow her car to get to the Donnas House thing. Like, cars and rides have played such a huge role in my life. And as soon as I got a car, I was like, I'm giving all my niggas rides. And that's literally what happened. I'm the nigga that's going to give you a ride. It don't matter if I just met you. If you need a way home, you in the passenger seat. And so to have that mindset and have Shotgun be about that, and then to have femdot with this whole project about this Camry, you know, being this tool to adolescents, you know what I'm saying? Or this vessel for adolescents, it was literally just a perfect fit. You know, literally it was like, oh, what, like, why didn't we think of this the moment that you dropped your shit type shit? Yeah.
I really like that one. So what are you currently working on musically? Like, I know you talked about you're working on a project. Is there anything else you can kind of give the listeners or the viewers?
I'm actually not working on a project technically. You know, so back to that very first question about the pandemic, I'm very like anti-projects right now until I'm aware of like what the future actually holds. But I really want to put out some music, so next year I'm gonna, and I can kind of give you the concept, I guess. I'm gonna release a bunch of just packs, and they're gonna be literally just be called packs. So like 2 to 3 song packs monthly. And to hold people over until there's a time where we can drop a project, you know, maybe drop a video for 1 or 2 songs, but it's just gonna be a monthly thing where we just hitting people over the head, you know, with little shit here and there till we got enough songs to look like a project, but don't have to do the whole song and dance until it's time to do the song and dance and the world is kind of more back to normal. You know? But the pack shit is gonna be fire. I'm really, really excited.
Obviously this year's a little different with COVID, but can you tell us about that after school program that you run?
YCA shit. Yeah. It's crazy. It is very different because of COVID. But yeah, I'm a teaching artist for Young Chicago Authors. Young Chicago Authors is a Chicago-based literary organization that helps young people become the masters of the stories of who they are and where they're from through hip hop and poetry. And as a teaching artist, I have residencies in 3 Southside high schools because I'm from the South Side, which is great. And I help the students. I literally go into an English class basically and teach hip hop to these kids, and it's the dopest shit ever because it's like, oh, like we're so sick of talking about the same shit every time we in here. You bringing in songs that we like. I'll ask them what y'all want to workshop next week, and they'll give me a song, and then I'll do a workshop, make a workshop about it. Another cool thing is outside of my residencies, I'm able to go to other high schools around the country, other colleges around the country. I was actually supposed to go to Europe and teach at this school in Germany in May of this year, and the pandemic fucked that up. But like that just shows you kind of the scope of what we do at YCA. And so as a teaching artist, I just have the opportunity to be in front of young people and show them how important and like impactful their voices can be. Yeah.
What's your favorite song that you made to date and why?
Fuck. It fluctuates, bro.
Yeah.
I can only say one.
I mean, you can say a couple.
I'll say right now, my favorite song is Ain't No. And Ain't No, I'll say Ain't No because it's usually like, it'll be like, oh, today it's a different song. Next week it's Ain't No. Different song. Week after that it's Ain't No. So Ain't No is the most consistent one. But I was just rapping on that motherfucker. And I feel like I just really, really skated on that beat. And it came out to be exactly what I wanted it to be when I sat down and pictured it. Honorable mentions would be Shea Butter Baby. I think Shea Butter Baby is a phenomenal song by like outside of the raps. Like just I feel like anybody can hear that song and they're gonna be like, oh, damn. So I'll put Shea Butter Baby on there, and Myself, just because it was just so dope to get Joseph on that song and get him to like it's a beautiful song, and people talk to me about how that song helps them, get through their struggles with self-love and gets them up for their day. And that's what you make the music for, bro. So, yeah. And then last one, St. Matthew, the intro to Love Nappyness, it is actually like, it's so true to who I am and what I've been through with my whole like issues with religion and growing up in the church and how that has manifested as an adult. It feels like the most tapped in folks can get with who I am and where I'm from. And so I love that song too.
You touched on it earlier, but that music video for Family Still is like super beautiful, super well put together.
Love.
Can you just talk about like how you, you directed that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you just talk about like the creative process going into that and just what you envisioned and how it turned out?
Yeah. So with Family Still, when I wrote the song, I wrote it as a tribute to my grandmother who passed away from cancer in 2007, and that was just the craziest shit ever because it was like, oh, like this superwoman in a year cancer took her out. And so for me and my siblings, it was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, oh, this is life type shit. Mm-hmm. And so when I wrote Family Still, I knew that the video had to be sentimental, and with the way that my family is now, my parents divorced in 2017. My sister moved to Philly for school. We don't see each other a lot. And so I was like, yo, I have to have a video that like shows our togetherness in 4 minutes. And then I collaborated or co-directed it with Erin Morgan Taylor, and she's a phenomenal photographer and videographer. And she has, like, I fucked with her shit because it has such a sentimental feel to it. You can look at a picture of a wall, but the way she takes it and the way she edits it, you'll feel that shit. And so I'm like, yo, having her shoot it and having her co-direct will put through that feeling. And yeah, bro, honestly, we were just being ourselves. I'm like, yo, dance, you know what I'm saying? And like, obviously, hair is a big deal in my family. Love Nappyness is the name of the project, And so I was like, yo, I want to do my family's hair like we've been doing each other's hair since we were growing up. And if you see the video, everybody in the family has their own like unique hairstyle. My dad got dreads now. My brother got long dreads. You know what I'm saying? At the time I had the fro out. My sister's hair is just huge. You know what I'm saying? So like hair has always been a form of self-expression. Our parents always let us do whatever we wanted with our hair. And so I'm like, with this video, I want y'all to see me showing love to them by doing their hair, lining up my dad's beard, you know what I'm saying, twisting my brother's hair, like just love and what it looks like in my household.
How many siblings do you have?
2. So I have a younger brother and an older sister.
So you're in the middle?
Yeah, I'm the middle child.
I'm in the middle too.
Yeah. Gang.
Bro, I feel like that's the best. I was talking to Brittany Carter about this. I always feel like being the oldest one would kind of suck.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's a lot of pressure to be the oldest one.
Yeah.
In the middle, I mean, I got 8 siblings. So, like...
Yeah, and that's incredible.
Deep.
But,
like, I feel like in the middle, you kind of get the best of both worlds. You got older siblings that you can kind of learn from. You got younger siblings that you can kind of teach.
Exactly.
But that's just a random question. I
always
ask
real.
people that when they bring up their siblings.
Yeah.
All right. So this is like my favorite question.
For sure.
I ask this to every Chicago artist because I feel like it's important. There's always that conversation within, Chicago's music community about like, oh, we're missing this, we're missing that. We don't have this, whatever LA has. We don't have this, whatever New York has. What do you think is missing in Chicago's music community?
I think the one thing that Chicago does have, I'm gonna start with that and then get to my extensive answer. The one thing Chicago does have that I don't think a lot of other folks have is a real community. Like, you could be that nigga in Chicago and like eat off that shit because of how tight knit, it is, and also because there's no industry here, folks have to create things to make it work. But what I think Chicago is missing, I honestly think it's missing label presence. That's the biggest thing. And I know a lot of people are on the indie shit, and I respect the indie grind, but I also think that there are too many artists here for labels to not be an option. And there are too many good artists here for labels to not be investing in at least having a little ass office here. You know what I'm saying? Pull up to Lincoln Hall, pull up to Shuba's. Like, you will find the next motherfucker if you have the shit here, but the A&Rs are not here, and the A&Rs are in LA. They are in New York, and them motherfuckers are eating off that shit. And it takes, literally sometimes it takes motherfuckers branching out or your shit getting 1 million views and then that motherfucker in LA coming across it for you to catch your break. And I don't think everybody should have to wait for that or wait that long. So I would say the label presence is missing. Same thing with like booking agents and shit like that. Like, I just think that there should be a mini industry here, just like there's a huge one in LA. Like, Chicago music is very valuable, and that's been shown by the plethora of people who have come up and come out of here. And to me, like, logic just says like, oh, they got Herbo, they got Chief, they got they got Ye, they got Chance, they got all of these motherfuckers within the last 10 years, you know what I'm saying, excluding Ye, within the last 10 years who have come up. There's gold there. Why don't we go mine that gold? And I don't understand why that's not a thing that they do. But I think that label presence, A&Rs, booking agents are needed here. I think shit like Lyrical Lemonade is huge because Lyrical Lemonade has the global connection now, and it's still not only based in Chicago, but it's truly a Chicago brand. Like, that shit started here, you know what I'm saying? Rooted here. And that to me will bring it here. We just need more intentional shit like what Lyrical Lemonade does to bring more of the actual outer industry to what's going on. One thing I will say about that was like when Complex Con was here, fire, but it came and it went. And there needs to be something that's going to stay, that is not just from here, and has connections to the labels and the booking agents in those other places.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Answer.
Okay.
No, that makes perfect sense. I think it's coming.
It is.
How long that's going to take, I don't know. But I think it's on the way. Like,
I honestly think one of us is going to do it. Like, an artist is going to be an artist, both musically or the other forms of art that exist within the music industry are going to be the ones who actually, it ain't going to take somebody in a suit. It's going to take somebody in street clothes.
So you've worked with a lot of Chicago artists so far, but who are some Chicago artists that you haven't worked with that you want to work with in the future?
Love. Brittany Carter. I just want to rap with Brittany Carter. I don't care how the song sounds. Like, let's just rap. Still Jamila Woods. I think I say her every single time that I answer this question, but Jamila Woods Jamila Woods is a fucking genius. And like, I really don't think people understand, like, people outside of the people in the hip hop world, I don't think understand how much of a genius Jamila Woods is. And I think to work with her would be an honor because of how much of a real life genius she is. The Mind. I got Joseph Williams. Shout out to that. I would love to do a song with Sab. That'd be dope. Everybody I'm thinking of, I already got songs with. Let me get one more for you. Jahari Noel. We actually just worked on some shit in LA, and it's so fire. And so that would probably be. I definitely want to do some shit with people who are adjacent to me too, like not just looking up to motherfuckers, but who are the folks next to me that I want to highlight. So Jahari Noel, and then there's a cellist named Yana Cello, and she does like trap covers to shit, and I'm trying to make something happen with like a trap rap collab that's gonna be fire. So
Perfect.
yeah.
All right. So my last question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Man, you know what's crazy? This pandemic really make you really think about that shit, and also the fucking climate of this country. So where do I see myself in 5 years? I see myself one of two places. Place one is doing exactly what I have written down for my musical goals. You know, in 5 years, I really want to be able to tour the entire country, if not the world. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to be doing. I want a national name, and I don't mean like just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want huge fame, but I want to be able to step into a room and like I'm respected for this music shit and for this rap shit. I also really want to have my video director hat in other people's music now. I don't want to just direct my own shit. It's a huge goal of mine to be working on other people's music videos. I want to really get into, so film is like my post-rap goal that I'm starting while I'm rapping. So hopefully in 5 years I'm either writing for a show or have my own show. I have so many ideas for TV shows that are actually fire. That's another goal of mine. You know, and living comfortably both off the music, but off the other doors that music opens up. Option B is this country continues to go to shit and I dip the fuck up out of here. I got a farm somewhere in fucking New Zealand and I'm chilling with my animals and my shorty. And making music when I feel like it, not because there's pressure to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Isn't that wild how that's like might be a thing?
Yeah, like
it might just get like way worse.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought about that shit. That's wild.
It's just like I don't know why it took me so long to realize I'm grown as fuck. Like I can literally do the fuck I want to do.
Yeah,
Like I can get the fuck out of here. Like
that's wild.